a big undertaking because it's a table topic session, but it's really easy in a way. What I would like to do is talk about resolutions or commitments. I really like the term commitment, indeed, yeah. Um, what I would like to mention about, I'll call them resolutions because that's what I tend to do. For me, New Year's resolutions, and that's going to be the theme of the table topic session. For me, what they represent are a roadmap to what I plan on accomplishing in the coming year. I had a discussion last week and about that with various people, and so we're all different, and some people take resolutions and some don't. And then I asked them why. And it was really interesting the kind of responses I received to my question, most of which made me stop and think. So before I go in the depth of the why, because that's going to be the crux of my questions to quite a few select people among us, I would like to share with you that, as I said, I do see resolutions as really, for me, it's a yearly thing. I've always done this since I've been young. And it's, as I said, it's because it's a roadmap to me. And what I tend to do is categorize them. In one hand, I will have some that are related to health, whether it's physical and mental. Some are really related to Toastmasters for me right now, and for quite a few years back, I have specific goals that I want to achieve about Toastmasters. I'll share with you something. There's a new one that resurfaced in my goals. I used to be a minimalist. And last year, I sort of forgot about it. And minimalism is just a way to keep in your life the things that are important to you and bring joy to your life and get rid of the other ones. In 2020, I forgot about it. And in rethinking my resolutions, and I'm looking at my timer, thank you. In looking at my resolutions, I thought I want to bring this back because it clears my mind. Being a minimalist clears my mind of the clutter around me. And so it's very important for me. The other thing I want to bring in my life in this new year is I want to bring. I wrote down giving my time. I want to give time, whatever form it takes. I'm not quite sure yet, but I'm privileged to be able to do what I do right now from home, and my life has not been too disturbed, and I don't want to forget that, and I want to share that with other folks. So I'll stop at that because now I would like to move to the question period. And what I'd like to do with our session is very randomly, I'll pick people. There's going to be a specific question that I will ask each one of you. And then the rest of your table's topic session, I would like you to tell us if you believe in New Year's resolutions and why or why not. It's an open floor kind of thing. Just, do you take resolutions? If you don't, tell us why. If you do, tell us why. So, I'm going to start with my first, on the screen. Anita, I'll start with you if you don't mind, okay? My first question to you, very specific, is what was the single best thing that happened to you this past year in 2020? So the best thing that happened to you in 2020. And also, if you could segue to, what do you foresee in 2021 for you? The floor is yours.
Thank you, Claude, for this question. So the best thing that's happened to me in 2020, it's not easy to focus on the best thing just because with the COVID situation, it's just it took all the place, and we just see COVID everywhere, and it's a little bit sad because I plan to travel with my kids last year in the south, but I had to cancel because of COVID. So I can really focus on what what went wrong. But to be honest, the best thing that happened to me, staying home, I am more aware of my health, of what I eat, of what my family do. Do we exercise enough? So I guess this is it's staying home. I believe that it's raised my awareness regarding my health, and I truly believe that this is the precious thing we all have. And in my country, they say a health is a crown on the head of the person who wears it, but only the sick people can see. So I think the best thing that happened to me this year is to I have more awareness of my health, how I have to take care of myself and my family, and this awareness I want to keep you through 2021.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Claude.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Anita, for sharing this. And it's a good thing you're reminding us that, despite COVID, some good things have happened in the past. So we can't forget that, because life is life, yeah. Moving on to, I would like to go with Fraser this time. And I encourage you, as Anita did, to take advantage of the 2 minutes you have. So Fraser, I would like to ask you, what was the single most challenging thing that happened to you in 2020? Number one. And if you have time and you feel like it, do you take resolutions for 2021? So the single most challenging thing that happened to you, Fraser.
The single most challenging thing. I can think of 3 challenging things, and now I'm trying to rank them. The single most challenging thing. Actually, maybe it'll be homeschooling. Homeschooling started up in March, mid-March for many parents, perhaps. I'm in Montreal, and so they extended the homeschooling period for us. Maybe outside it's not as the same, but we did the whole year, the whole end of last year in homeschooling. And it was a real challenge. Whereas previously I'd given private math lessons, even to smaller children. But when it became my son, there was challenges there. It was challenging. I thought it was going to be easier, but in fact, just the dynamic between us, it led to issues. That he would perform less well, reminding me back to my days when I was giving private lessons and thinking of the parents, why are you paying someone to do that? You could just sit down with your kid for an hour. But actually now I could see how I came along in those situations, and they really perked up. Like, this was serious now. This is someone else coming in. When it comes to a different dynamic than the parent-student dynamic, or the parent-child dynamic, that it was very interesting, but very challenging. It looks like we may be going into a lockdown again. We'll find out later today by the Prime Minister, or the Premier, I should say. And so I look forward to perhaps a second chance of doing better this time. But it was definitely, I think, the top challenge for 2020 in my case. For resolutions, I try and keep fairly. So that's the end of that part. For your second question, for resolutions, I try and keep them fairly loose. I have goals in mind, but at the same time, I'm a big believer in setting those throughout the year. So while I had a few, again, loose goals, I'm not going to beat myself up too much. I did set a few for the New Year's, though, as well. Thank you for the time.
Fantastic. Thank you, Fraser. It makes me laugh. Your answer makes me laugh, because I'm sensing that it could be a case of like father, like son, maybe, And in terms of resolution, you're reminding me that, we're all different. Sometimes I drive people crazy because they're saying, why are you so rigid about things? But that's just the way I am. So to each his own. So I'll move now to Mr. Paul. Paul, I would like to ask you the following question. What was an unexpected joy this year for you? An unexpected joy this year for you? And if you have time and you want to answer, maybe talk about resolutions for the coming year.
Thank you.
an unexpected joy for this year. Thinking about it, and I would say getting my third daughter through her eating disorder successfully. She had been ill of an eating disorder since 2017, and we've been through many months of challenging treatment, visit to CHIO every week, and in the course of 2020, she finally recovered and she's in good health now, and we've been enjoying that, having our daughter back, so to speak. And that was it was unexpected, because those illnesses can linger for years in teenagers and can have even more serious repercussions. And more so to be able to overcome that in the challenging life situation in which we are, where we share custody of our 6 children, and among which 2 have an eating disorder. One of them got healed. So that was my, I'll say, unexpected joy for 2020. Now on to the subject of setting goals. I believe in setting goals, in making commitments, to use Andrew's synonym for New Year's resolutions. And I personally, I keep it quite loose in terms of setting goals for myself. Just as Fraser, I would say, if I'm healthy, both body, spirit, and mind, and my kids are healthy, and I have a roof over my head, and my basic needs and my family's met, that's a successful year for me. So thank you. Back to you, Claude.
Oh, fantastic.
Can you hear?
Thank you very much, Paul, for sharing this with you. I'm both surprised and full of empathy for you. I'm surprised at the fact that you have 6 kids. It's crazy. 6 is a lot, my God. And full of empathy for what you've gone through. But I'm glad to hear that you're considering it a joy. And in the end, it was successful. So good, really good. I would like to do one more, because I see that we still have time for one more. And I would like to ask Sichin if you wouldn't mind sharing your thoughts with us on the following. The question is, what was an unexpected obstacle? And if you have time, once you answer that question, if you wouldn't mind sharing with us, if you do take resolutions, or what the commitments you're making for 2021. Back, the floor is yours, Sichin.
Hello, everyone. The most obstacle of 2021, I didn't think too much about that, because I'm a very, how to say that? I'm not a per se. I don't know the word. So
you're more optimistic.
Good things.
Yeah.
Last year, there are a lot of obstacles in my new job. So I try to solve them when I face the problem. This year, I'm thinking the work still has a lot of challenge for me, because I only did half of my job in my the EPR, the thing my manager asked me to do. So still a lot of challenge. Also for the Toastmaster, I really not give myself any pressure. So this year, this is I feel mentally, I feel it's a challenge to start from beginning on the pathway. So I hope I can get a little bit of help from you, Claude, or maybe Andrew, to help me to restart the thing. Another thing is health. So this year, like everybody think they cannot go anywhere. They only can stay home. I don't really like this. I like travel. I like go to a walk in the trail. So I hope everything will be back to the normal order. Don't give us any obstacles in our life. So that's the thing I'm thinking. I don't have time to see my New Year resolution. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Sichin. And by the way, and this goes for you and everybody in our group, if you need help on pathways, Andrew and I, for just to name a few, are quite familiar with it. We are gladly be willing to help you. So this was a great session. It allowed us to know more what people think and where their goals are at, and I see that Toastmasters is very, very present in all of our minds. So thank you for sharing that. We're all here to help each other, and I would like to leave it at that, and I will pass it back on to Andrew.
Thank you for leading the interesting and thought-provoking table topic session, Claude. I know it's a success when everyone takes up the full 2 minutes. Everyone has something to say, which means the questions were masterfully crafted and it was a pleasure to listen